ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम गं गणपते नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। सर्वमंगलमांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके देवी नारायणि नमोस्तुते। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु महालक्ष्मी रूपेण संस्थिता। नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। ओम नमो नारायणाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमः शिवाय। श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्री परमगुरुभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री हनुमते नमः। Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 13th of July 2026 by the grace, Krupa of Paramatma, Bhagavad Tattva, all the great sages and all devotees. We are able to do satsang every single day with Vishnu Sahasranam and mantras and stotras, as well as exposition on a variety of different topics on a daily basis. We have covered the 14 lokas, what they're all about, and now we have started within the last 2 days to try to understand what is Vaikuntha Lok. Vaikuntha Lok or Vishnu Bhagavan. Vishnu Bhagavan, Vishnu Narayan, is the form of Paramatma present in the Vaikuntha Dham. This is a very difficult and very tricky subject to talk about. But to continue from the last several days, and I will be recording, in fact, I will be uploading the recordings today sometime from the last 10 days. I just haven't had time, but I will get to that today probably. This subject about who is Vishnu Bhagavan is very difficult because it is beyond our imagination. We cannot even imagine it. Nonetheless, several points to keep in mind. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv, they are in charge of the entire creative, sustenance and destructive forces that are running the material universes. Bhautik Jagat. Of course, Durga Devi is the Shakti herself. So she is in charge directly, and Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv are also connected to that same Shakti. It's a very intricate metaphysics. I'll try to break it down as carefully as possible. But we have to go very slowly and we have to go very, very carefully. So just as a quick reminder that Brahmaji lives 100 years. His 100 years. So his 1 second, he opens his eyes one time, that is, 660 years are gone. Our 660. He closes his eyes, another 660. So in the blink, eyes blink, like this is how it is described. Massive time period. But after his 100 years, so many Indras go, so many lokas come and go. Brahmaji himself, the body that is Brahmaji, because there's also Atma in the Brahma. Brahma, not Brahman, not Akshara Brahman. We're talking about Brahma, the God Brahma. That God Brahma is the very first Ishvara, Ishwar Koti. How many Brahmas are there? Infinite in number. They are all at different powers also. Some of them have 4 faces, some of them have 1,000 faces, some of them have 100 faces. We don't understand that. That is beyond our imagination. You have to go into Samadhi to see those things. So there's a Brahma Lok, that is Satya Lok it is called. That is where Brahmaji resides and the liberated beings. So we did talk about Satya Lok to some extent. So Brahmaji also is trying to find out where he came from. So he walked on that stalk. He's sitting on a lotus and he's trying to find out where that lotus came from. Now this lotus and all this thing that we see in the imagery, this is not some imagination. These are divine realities. But that can only be seen in Samadhi. You cannot take a spaceship and go to the Brahmaji's Lok or any of those lokas. Samadhi mein aap dekh sakte hai. If you're a great yogi, then possibility of traveling into different lokas. All right. Brahmaji tried to find out where he came from. He walked 50 years of his years to find out where that origin is. He could not find out. The origin is coming from the navel of Bhagwan Vishnu. Itne par hai Bhagwan Vishnu. We cannot imagine. It's beyond our imagination. But this is what's interesting. In Sanatan Dharma, as time has gone on, great beings manifest here in this Mrityu Lok from time to time, and they show, in fact, they show sadhana, scriptures, mantras, everything, all five, right? Stotra, mantra, shastra, guru parampara, and mandir. All five they establish them to open the door into these divine places outside the Brahmand. So Vaikuntha Loka or Vaikuntha Dham is outside the 14 lokas and outside the cycle of birth and death. Let's go very carefully, point by point by point. Then it will be very clear for all of us. It is outside the cycle of birth and death. What is actually in the abode of Vaikuntham? There's Bhagwan Narayan, Chaturbhuj Narayan, 4 arms. Actually 4 arms are there, not their divine arms. They're just like we have body, there's bodies there too. There's body everywhere. So everything is sakar. This nirakar concept, nirakar is just the Satchidananda light, divine consciousness. That doesn't have any form as such in terms of the physical form, or even it doesn't even have a divine form. It is just Satchidananda, pure consciousness. That is Brahman. So yes, everything is within Brahman in one sense, or Brahman is, as Bhagavan Krishna says, Brahmohi pratishtaham, that Brahman is coming from me. So that is another thing. I don't want to go into that right now, but just we have to go very careful because it's sab tattva ki baat hai. The point right now is that just as we have form, are we formless? No, we're not formless. We have form. Does the world that we see around us, is there form? Everything has form. Where is Nirakar? Nirakar hai kya? Where is it? Even that the dream state, everything has forms. So Nirakar is simply this thing that Advaita Vedanta talks about. It has to do with the Atma. Atma and Nirakar Brahman are one. Because the Atma doesn't have divine form or physical form. So understand this point. The Jeev Atma is Nirakar. Yahan Nirakar ki baat hai. Hamara swarup wo Nirakar swarup hai. But that Nirakar Tattva is inside Maya. And so Bhagavan Narayan and Mahashakti in Vaikuntham is Mahalakshmi, but Shakti ka hi sab swarup hai in different ways. The bodies are given. So the Jivatma doesn't really remain without a body. I mean, there's always some body there. Again, that's a massive subject about the cycle of birth and death. But bodies come, bodies go, bodies are given. The Atma Tattva is in the body of Bhagavan Narayan. Now I'm going to explain this now based on Ramanujacharya's Bhasyam and his entire Sampradaya, the Shri Sampradaya. So the Shri Sampradaya in Sanatan Dharma, who is the guru of the Shri Sampradaya? Shri, which is Mahalakshmi. There's a whole parampara coming from Mahalakshmi. So she is the one who manifests in different ways, and then through the gurus and all, that opens the door into Vaikuntha Dham. So when Shripad Ramanujacharya ji came, he established Vishishtadvaitam, Shri Bhasyam, and the commentary on the Gita, and the mantras that he gave, Om Namo Narayanaya, and other mantras are there. What does that do? That is the upasana of Bhagwan Narayan with Lakshmi ji, with Mahalakshmi. So this upasana of Mahalakshmi and Bhagwan Vishnu Narayan, that predominantly is from the Shri Sampradaya. बहुत ध्यान रखना. Otherwise this will get very confusing. We have to go very, very slowly and carefully. And if you do have questions, please ask. If you want to interrupt me, fine, or just wait until I'm done. That's okay also. Just wait until I'm done. That way then this exposition can be done here in the right way. So understand the meaning of Sampradaya. Sampradaya is these 5. Stotra, Mantra, Shastra, Guru Parampara and Vigraha. Mandir meaning the Vigrahas inside the Mandir, the forms of God. When they are 5 are combined and given by a particular enlightened saint or Acharya or Mahapurush, they are given so that millions of people can have the access into the divine abode of Vaikuntha, or into the divine abodes. Dham anant hai. Yaha Vaikuntha ki baat ho rahi hai. So from here, from with this body, with this mind, with this senses, with our senses, indriyas, etc., if we are connected to these 5 in a particular sampradaya, this is why we have talked about Ishta Bhakti. That has to do with this concept of sampradaya. Because there's Shakti Sampradaya, there's Vaishnavi Sampradaya, there's Shaiva Sampradaya, there's the Upasana of Ganeshji, Upasana of Surya Narayan, there's this Panchayatan, there's different Sampradayas. And they take you to different abodes of God. They don't all lead to the same place. You know, people say all roads lead to Rome. You know, I mean, in one sense, yeah, everything leads to the Atman and Brahman. That is not wrong. That is obviously true. That has to be there. That's the unitive consciousness. But the abodes are different. Kailas Dham is different from Vaikuntha Dham. We're going to talk about that next after we finish this subject. You have to go very carefully in this. So when a bhakta has been initiated into a sampradaya, there is mantra given. Like for example, in the Shri Sampradaya, there is I think the main mantra is Om Namo Narayanaya, and there's other mantras also. Mantras, there's additional mantras are there, and also Bhagwan, and also by the way, they consider Bhagwan Ram, Bhagwan Krishna as incarnations of Narayana. So they put Narayan on the top, Vaikuntham is on the top, and the incarnations are coming from Narayana. In the other sampradayas like Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, it's reversed. They say that Bhagwan Krishna is beyond this Narayan form in the Vaikuntham. We'll get into that later on, but when that might be another month from now, we'll talk about what that is. What about the Goloka? Right? Because so this is very interesting, because when a sadhak starts the journey in a particular sampradaya, a bona fide sampradaya, sampradaya doesn't mean groupism, it doesn't mean divisiveness and all that nonsense. Just forget that. It has to do with setting a target in this is my destination. It's like that. You see, so the destination is set by the sampradaya based on the Acharya Parampara, Guru Parampara. So for example, like in Advait Vedanta, Shripad Shankaracharya ji, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, his manifestation, you know, after him, the Advaitic Siddhant established. So what is the destination? Nirakar Brahman. So that is not the same as going into Vaikuntham. His destination is different. So if you are master in Advait Vedanta, Vivek Chudamani, you have Viveka, Atman and Brahman are one, and Bhakti and everything is secondary, and then you realized Brahman, then Jivatma goes into the Brahman, and there is no more Jivatma anymore. It's lost inside Brahman. That's the end point. Brahma Satyam. Right? This is Advait Vedanta's destination. There are different destinations. Each Acharya that came in terms of the Vedic Upanishadic Parampara after Vedvyasji, each major Acharya, each great Goswami or Rishi or people who have come, who are truly enlightened, who are truly awakened, yet the enlightenment into the Atman is the same. Brahman realization is also, but the destinations are different. Yes, they are not the same destination by any standard. Right? So this is what's interesting. So when the Shri Sampradaya was established, and then it is there even today, they have a different tilak, they have this upward tilak, And particularly in South India, it is more predominant. In North also it is there. But it is Ramanujacharyaji's Sampradaya. He's the main Acharya that established this. And it's a doorway. So when you worship Bhagavan Narayan, Mahalakshmi Ji, what is the doorway in that? The mantras are given by the Guru Parampara. There's a diksha process. There are tilaks that are placed on the hand, on the chest, on the forehead. You go to the Mahalakshmi temple even today, here, right inside in Delaware. Some pujaris are from that Sri Sampradaya, they have that kind of tilak. Some are from the Shaiva Sampradaya, they have different kind of tilak. The Tripunda tilak is there. Any kind of upward tilak, the U-shape upward tilak, is a Vaishnavi tilak. Right? So it has to do with worship of Bhagwan Vishnu or his incarnations. Narayan ka tilak hai wo. So, as Upasana continues of Lakshmi Ji and Bhagwan Narayan, with respect to all the other incarnations, but that would be considered as the Avatari. So the Upasak considers the Ishta as the supreme, and all of the other forms of Bhagavan are emitting from that one supreme. This is called Avatari. Avatar and Avatari, two words. Dhyan rakhna. Very interesting. Right, so Vaikuntha Dham. Now we want to talk a little bit about the abode itself. It is aprakrut, meaning it is not part of the Brahmand. Brahmand, the word Brahmand means, and means egg. It's an analogy. It's an analogous word used in Sanskrit. It's an evolute out of Brahman. Because everything is within Akshara Brahma. So Brahmand meaning these are 14 lokas. Each Brahmand has 14 lokas. There might even be more lokas. We don't know, but that's how it's described. How many Brahmand are there? Infinite. So how infinite Brahmas are there that control, that they create these Brahmand. And all of these universes are in the body of Shriman Narayan. This is called Vishishtadvaita. I mean, now we have to understand Vishishtadvaita to understand Vaikuntha Lok. Vishishtadvaita is, the concept is this way, the way it is described, that there's one being. There's only one Paramatma. It's Advaita. Advaita meaning there's one. Vishishta means qualified. Qualified in what sense? Qualified doesn't mean like qualification. That's not how that word is used. It means that there's one being, Bhagavan Narayan, Chaturbhuj Narayan, and in the body of that Narayan, Ananta Koti Brahmand are there, and in those Brahmand, Ananta Koti Jivatma are there. This is called Sharir Shariri. This is one of the key concepts in Vishishtadvaita. This concept is not there in Advaita Vedanta. Sharir, Shariri. Shariri is Narayan. Unka sharir hai. And that power that is coming from that body, from Narayan himself, it's that tattva that is Bhagavan Narayan. That power is Mahamaya. That power is Maya. So in one sense, Mahalakshmi, but then all the other forms of goddesses. So in terms of Sri Sampradaya, Bhagavan Narayan is the topmost being. That's it. And everything is within Narayan. So Jeev, Maya and Ishwar. This is called three tattvas. Shankaracharya ji talked only about one tattva. Ramanujacharya ji is talking about three tattvas. But they are, they are still within one. That the infinite Jivatma are in the body of Shriman Narayan. Yes. Amazing. Not only that, each Jivatma, which are Nirakar, but with bodies, because to experience the Mahamaya, they're given the bodies. Each Jivatma has within the Jivatma, inside the Atma, the essence of the Atma, that Shariri, that Shriman Narayan, is present as the essence of the Jivatma. You follow this point? Incredible baat hai ye sab. Think about it. If you see a frog, for example, what do we see? We see the body, right? Its essence is Jivatma. It's Sat Chit Anand, just like we have. But inside that Jivatma, at the depth of that Jivatma, in the interiority, in the essence of the Atma, is Ishvara, is Shriman Narayan. So now the Atma of all of us is Sharir, and the Paramatma, that is Ishvara, is Shariri. Yasya Atma Shariram, Yasya Aksharam Shariram. Upanishad ki Shruti. Amazing. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. We also have Shariri. I can say that this body is mine. But who am I? I'm Atma, मैं Brahma हूँ, मैं Divya हूँ, I am a divine being. I am Akshar, I am Brahman, that is my Swarup. So that is Shariri. The Atma Tattva is Shariri, the one who is inhabiting the body, holding the body. Body is separate. But body is called Sharir. It is Sharir and Shariri. We have three bodies, and the Shariri is the Atma. But the Atma is actually the Sharir of the Paramatma. Sharir meaning body. So each Jivatma is the body of the Paramatma. And the Paramatma is the essence of the Atma. So where is Bhagwan Narayan? In the depth of our being. That is where we will find him. We cannot take a rocket ship and find Bhagwan Narayan. Anywhere you go, it's all the Vibhu Swarup of Narayan. You cannot find Narayan that way. All we are seeing are little fragments, bits and pieces of that Aishwarya. That's all. आपको भगवान को देखना है. We want to see Paramatma. Then we need to go into Akhand Vritti, Tel Dhara Vritti, Ananya Bhakti, towards our Ishta Devata. Ultimately, Paramatma is only one. But today we're talking about Mahalakshmi and Bhagwan Narayan and Vaikuntha Dham. So if that's, we want to go into the Vaikuntha Dham and we want to see the Dham, the abode, in Samadhi you can see it. Yes. Akhanda Vritti, Ananya Vritti, Bhagwan mein. There's Vairagya, Jnana, Bhakti, by the way, all those 10 deficiencies, which I don't even want to mention at all, they are out of the picture. Saintly qualities have to be brimming from inside. Without saintly qualities, this doesn't happen. All of that we've talked about before. So from that, then you're sitting for Bhakti, Upasana, Dhyan, and then doing our regular activity. What happens? We are living with Bhagwan Narayan, and we're sitting for our meditation, dhyan, maybe even at night time, Bhagwan appears. Wo swayam aate hai. He takes us out of the binding of the Jagrat, Swapna, Shushupti Avastha. That is called Jivan Mukta. Waking, dream, deep sleep state. The Jivatma is rolling in those three states through the power of Maya. Bhagwan ki krupa se, he takes you out of those three and makes you a liberated being. So this body remains here, but what happens when this body goes? If we are already liberated, the body will remain for some time, but there's another body, that is the Brahmamay Sharir, or there's the Bhagavati Sharir. So in the Vaikuntha Dham, a different body is given. It is a divine body. It is called Bhagavati Tanu or Bhagavati Sharir. And it is also 4 arms, Chaturbhuj. Just like Bhagwan Narayan, but it is through that body, the Jivatma that is Nirakar now has a form, the divine form is given in the Vaikuntha Dham. And that Vaikuntha Dham mein jo akar hai, and from that form, through that form, with that form, Chaturbhuj form that the Muktas have, liberated beings of Vaikuntham, they can actually do the Bhakti, Upasana of Mahalakshmi and Bhagwan Vishnu Narayan. You cannot even see them without that body. It's not possible. So, and then the Anubhav is infinite time, this beyond time, as such. Yes, those abodes can expand and contract, but they are not part of the domain of the Brahmand. So what's going on over there? Now somebody will ask, well, what is it that happens in Vaikuntha Dham? It is Akhanda Aishwarya, Akhanda, just divinity. There's no break in that. So the bhakti, just seeing Bhagwan Narayan, you don't want to see anything else. You don't want to see anybody else, anything else. It's the beauty, Saundarya, Aishwarya. It is so extraordinary. It's just the muktas are just lost inside Narayan. It's never becomes old. See, in this world, even the most beautiful object or place, it will become old. You go to Hawaii, go to Alaska, go to any extraordinarily beautiful, first couple of days, you really are enjoying it a lot. But if you have to stay there for another month, 2 months, God, it's it just kind of all just diminishes, this becomes ordinary. It's not like that in Vaikuntha Dham. Once you cross Brahmalok, this problem is not there. First of all, that body doesn't become old. That body of the liberated beings doesn't become old. There's no food to eat or anything like that over there. Like we have to maintain the bodies. Vaha akhanda divyat. It is Chaitanya Bhumika. So what is going on there is happening at the speed of the mind. It's not even speed of light, speed of the mind. All kinds of Aishwarya, all kinds of bhakti, all kinds of wisdom. It's infinite. It is a different dimension completely. And Bhagwan Swayam Vaha hai. So then when you are standing in front of God, there is no question of wanting anything else. They wouldn't want anything else. Because it is a continuous, ever increasing, ever expanding Ananta Ananda. If you're standing, but once we have a divine body and you're in the abode, once you cross Brahmalok, Ananda is infinite. It never stops, it never ends. It's new, continuously new each time. And every desire of the mukta is fulfilled right away. And those desires are all bhakti related. Yes, anything and everything that the muktas want is manifest right away. Manifest right away. And so Bhagwan ka Aishwarya is so intense. Aishwarya is there in terms of material world, but over there is Divya Aishwarya. And there are divine objects there. So just like we have objects here, they're not conscious in that sense, at least. Over there, everything is consciousness. That is a spiritual world. And there are many Vaikuntha planets, but we're talking about just one of them. We say planet, but it's not this kind of planet. वो एक धाम है भगवान का. And once you go inside there, then what happens over there is that the anubhav is so unbelievable. वो दिव्यता का अनुभव. I'll give you a simple example. When we are doing the pujan here, just in temples, right? We do the abhishekam, or we do different artis and pujas and things like that. We do that, and then you may have noticed as bhakti increases, you go for 1 hour, 2 hours, as the Vishnu Sahasranam and Havans are done. At some point, there's a glimpse of that Vaikuntham. You just want to not come out of that. That is a glimpse of what that Vaikuntham is like all the time. अनुभव का प्रश्न है. You don't want to come, उसमें से बाहर निकल, you don't want to come. Usually in most people's life, even to get established in bhakti is difficult. But once a person is established in bhakti, then, and if the sad vasana is there, vasanas or other vasanas are gone, and you don't want to come out of bhakti, that is just the beginning of the glimpse of what that अनुभव कैसा है. Let's stop here for now. There's a lot of stuff to cover. One step at a time. We'll open it up for discussion, questions, and whatnot. Let's do the closing mantra. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Shri Ganeshaya Namah Om Ganganavate Namah Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Dhyanamulam Guru Murti Mantramulam Guru Vakyam Pujamulam Guru Padam Mokshamulam Guru Kripa Tameva Mata Chipita Tameva Bandusha Saka Tameva तमेव विद्या द्रविणं तमेव तमेव सर्वं मम देव देव. ओम ह्रीं 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 स्वाहा.